Okay, this is the Game is on 100 here with the video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the reason why John Cena always wins at WrestleMania. It is almost kind of similar in the fact how that WrestleMania is now John Cena. Now, just like in the past, in the first part of WrestleMania when it was with Hulk Hogan. So let's get started. Cena, we all know, is going to be facing The Miz for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania in the main event. As it's from obvious saying is that John Cena is going to win and The Miz isn't going to win. Well, you got to look at this from two different perspectives. On one hand, you have The Miz, and I understand why the fans of The Miz or whoever wants The Miz to retain his title at WrestleMania because Cena doesn't need the title or to win at WrestleMania. This will only make The Miz be better as a champion. I can understand that. But The Miz isn't the face of the WWE right now. John Cena is the face of the WWE. Eventually, John Cena won't be the face of the WWE. WWE will go in a different direction. It was just like what Vince McMahon told Hulk Hogan. He said it during Hogan's time when he was in the WWE. Hulk Hogan even said that Vince McMahon said it's time to wind this thing down because people are not going to get too used to seeing him ripping, like what for Hulk Hogan, for instance, like him ripping off the t-shirts, hearing the real American music, etc., etc. And basically the fans were getting pretty sick of Hulk Hogan because all of Hulk Hogan's audience, they were getting older. Times were changing. And that was when Hulk Hogan decided when he went into WCW, he wasn't liked too much in WCW. He was, it was probably 70-30 probably. 70 of the fans liked Hulk Hogan and 30% of the fans did it. And when Hulk Hogan, when he knew that in the business sense, that Hogan realized when he was coming out on Nitro, Hogan would hear some boos from the crowd. That Hogan realized that he said, well, it looks like this is coming down to the end. I need to do a revamp of my character. Hogan did that. And Hogan was he even said it that he was sitting down with Eric Bischoff at the time, and they were going to be doing the whole NWO angle. And Hogan told Bischoff, what about me? So they decided to turn Hulk Hogan heel, did an amazing promo at Bash at the Beach in 96 when Hulk Hogan turned on his fans. That was a key for Hulk Hogan to be recognized as the top heel that everyone despised. Because all of Hulk Hogan's fans that were older, they understand the reason why Hogan did what he did. It's all about the money. Hulk Hogan did that, and his fans didn't like him. Then he was even in that same year, at the end of 96, Hogan was the most hated wrestler as given by the award from the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. With that said, Hogan won it another time too. I believe it was in 98. Yeah, in 98 he won that again as the most hated wrestler by the writers of the Pro Wrestling Illustrated and so forth. So I can understand why they need to have John Cena winning at WrestleMania. It's just like Hulk Hogan, people. You got to look at, if you don't know your prior WrestleMania, when it first started in 1985, everyone was adapting to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is the reason to get WrestleMania off. He's the reason why there is a WrestleMania, including with Vince McMahon. if Vince McMahon didn't roll the dice with Hulk Hogan as his champion, the WWE might have not have surpassed the first WrestleMania. The WWE wouldn't even be in existence right now. And you got to look at the fact, without the first WrestleMania, that Vince put it all on the line on the first WrestleMania. He gambled, and it paid off. And that's because all the fans wanted to see it. The fans wanted to see Hulk Hogan. They wanted to see Mr. T to compete in the main event. That's what happened. So you guys got to realize that The Miz, he will eventually, probably will be the face of the WWE in the next few years. But as of right now, John Cena is the face of the WWE right now. It will be in due time. In due time. John Cena will no longer be the face of the WWE. Vince McMahon will probably tell John Cena like what he told Hulk Hogan prior to be Hulk Hogan wanting to wind it down. He's going to tell that to John Cena. He's going to say, John, we know for now we got to wind this thing down. It's not going to go work with the fans. Eventually, it's not going to work. John Cena will probably understand that for business-wise. If they would have John Cena do a full-blown heel act, just like what Hogan did, then the fans would despise John Cena. The adult fans would like John Cena. And, of course, eventually it's going to happen that probably John Cena, in so many years later, I don't know when it's going to happen, that he is even going to be voted as the most hated wrestler of the year by the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. The fans, they're going to vote for John Cena as the most hated wrestler. You gotta look. You gotta look at this. Eventually, John Cena's time is going to pass. You gotta look at that. But from prior experience, just like Hulk Hogan, people, just like Hulk Hogan, John Cena is one and the same. Hulk Hogan put the WWE on the map with the first WrestleMania. And like I said, if there wasn't for that first WrestleMania being successful, Vince McMahon would have been in so much financial trouble that the WWE wouldn't probably exist right now. So he had to do it with Hulk Hogan. And I can understand why. I can understand why now he has to do it with John Cena. And this is how it is. Cena is the face of the WWE. Remember that majority of the buy rates will be that of the demographic that Cena represents. The WWE knows this, which is why Cena wins so many titles, because apparently this is what the fans want to see. If the WWE gives Cena the strap, it's more money for WWE, satisfied women and children, which is his demographic, more promotion for the company, and keep in mind, WWE is a business. And the top man is the one who has to win. It's just like Hulk Hogan, people. You got to look at that. You got to look at the fact that Hulk Hogan, people. Hulk Hogan, the reason why he was put as the face of the WWE, because he had a believable character. It was working for that demographic of the audience. Hogan was mainly for children and kids. No, children, kids, and women. At some part, it's just like John Cena. I know there isn't even some male fans that I see whenever I watch Raw, or go to a live event, or even to a pay-per-view. I see fans wear John Cena's merchandise from the parents of the kids, because the parents realize that John Cena is the kids' idol. When that's their role model for kids, just like Hulk Hogan was in the past. You got to realize this. WWE is a business. That's the reason why they got to make the fans happy. That's what's going to happen at WrestleMania. The fans are going to be sent home happy. John Cena's going to win the title. And I know The Miz, they said The Miz has to get the win over John Cena. I can understand that. But the WWE is a business. And when you have a business, you gotta, with the face of the company, he has to be on top. Just like Hulk Hogan. Eventually, John Cena's career will wind down. It will wind down. He's no longer going to be the face of the WWE, and Vince McMahon is going to groom someone to replace John Cena. When Vince McMahon told this to Hogan, Hogan understood, but it took him a while to understand the reason why he had to wind it down. Same thing with John Cena. It's because that generation of the kids is going to get older. They're going to think Cena isn't like what he was back in the day when he was been the face of the WWE. The fans they're going to turn on John Cena. It will happen eventually. You gotta let these things run its course, just like what the wrestling did back in the day. If all you smart mark fans know about your wrestling, you guys think that the WWE started in the Attitude Era, but you gotta look at that the WWE first started in 1963. Back then, the WWE was called the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, owned by Vince McMahon Sr. And Vince McMahon Sr. was on the board of directors back in the prior years of wrestling on the NWA board. He wanted to leave the NWA and did his own promotion, in which he did, and he took it to a level. It was quote unquote his territory until when Vince McMahon bought his dad's company, and Vince McMahon's dad didn't know what he was going to do with it when he sold him the territory, but Vince McMahon knew he had to grow out his business, and he did that. He had to have it with Hulk Hogan. He knew that he had to do it with Hulk Hogan. He couldn't do it with Bob Backlund. He had to have the right person and the right guy to roll the ball in the early stages of when Vince McMahon owned the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, eventually turned it to the World Wrestling Federation. So you got to look at that is the reason why Cena is going to probably win at WrestleMania. You got to look at that. I know you fans, all you adult fans who are like over 18 years old, or in your teenage fans, and it was like 18 or a little bit older, in that demographic, I can understand why you want The Miz to retain. But the WWE is a business. You got to look at it. Cena draws the most merchandise in the WWE right now. There's no question he draws so much merchandise is because the kids go to their parents, say, bang their heads on the stove or whatever. I don't know what the heads bang their heads on. They probably bang their heads on their heads, begging it, please get me this John Cena shirt, get me this John Cena hat, get me this, get me that. That's what the WWE, that's what the parents do. They buy the merchandise for the kids. The WWE understands this, and that's now the demographic that the WWE is currently going, as we currently know right now. That's the reason why John Cena is the reason why he's going to win the title at WrestleMania. It's just because the Vince McMahon realizes he has to send the crowd home happy. It's a different time period, people. It's a different time period. Why do you think when Hulk Hogan, when he was the face of the WWE, why was he mostly as headlined in the main event for all those years? Let's see. Hogan was the face of the WWE. He was the WWE champion. He sold the most merchandise. That is the same with John Cena, people. John Cena and Hulk Hogan is one and the same. John Cena is the Hulk Hogan of the past, and Hulk Hogan is the John Cena of now. If they would switch that two different time periods, then yes, it will probably wouldn't work too much. But you got to realize that's how the time was during that time in the 80s, early 90s with Hulk Hogan. Why do you think that even reason why that at WrestleMania 3, majority of the fans pat the Pontiac Silverdome? When they popped the Pontiac Silverdome in front of 93,173 fans, everyone wanted to see the match between Hogan and Andre the Giant. That was the match that drew the gate. But the match that stole the show was Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat. That stole the show. Even though you're in the main event, which it doesn't mean that you can have a good match at WrestleMania. You can steal the show at WrestleMania even though you're not in the main event. It has happened. So I'm not saying right that, but you gotta see that with Hulk Hogan rolling into the first WrestleMania, he won WrestleMania 1. He won WrestleMania 2. He won WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 4, they had the tournament for the WWE title, but there was a time that Hulk Hogan, he was during his run as the WWE champion. All right, you got to look at if Hulk Hogan didn't do the movie No Holds Barred. If Hogan didn't do the movie No Holds Barred, Hogan had to take time off to do a movie. And the WWE had to take the title off of Hogan, and they did that. And in February of '88, they had the match with Hogan and Andre. There was a controversial call with the Hebners, who cost Hogan his WWE title out of it controversially, and then they held the title vacant and the tournament at WrestleMania 4. And Hogan, everyone thought Hogan was going to win the title at WrestleMania 4, but the WWE knew they had to put Hogan somewhat as being part of the main event part of WrestleMania, but Hogan wasn't in the main event. It was Randy Savage and Ted DiBiase was the main event. Hogan faced Andre the Giant in the first match of the second round. It's because Hulk Hogan was doing the movie. They had to get the title off of him. So if Hogan didn't have to do his movie No Holds Barred, Hulk Hogan would have been the WWE champion for over 6 years if he didn't went out and do that movie. If he didn't do that movie, he would have been champion for over 6 years until at WrestleMania 6, he would have dropped the title eventually to the Ultimate Warrior. As you got to look at that, WrestleMania 5, Hogan went into the main event. WrestleMania 5, he wins the WWE title again. WrestleMania 6, Hogan gave the Warrior the title at WrestleMania 6. Hogan knew that they had a good feel to it. It was a face versus face. The first time ever that two faces fought each other at a WrestleMania. It was huge, people, because no one in the audience was sidewise 50-50. No one didn't know what was going to be the actual finish of the match. No one didn't know. Even including Edge and Christian. When they were at WrestleMania 6, they didn't know that the audience was so split. They didn't know what was the outcome, what was going to be. They didn't know how was it going to end. They didn't know. The fans didn't know. I didn't even know how it was going to end. When I watched WrestleMania 6 in the title for title match, I didn't understand how it was going to end. And at WrestleMania 7, Hulk Hogan's on top again. WrestleMania 8, Hulk Hogan on top again. WrestleMania 9, Hulk Hogan surprises beating Yokozuna for the title at WrestleMania 9. It's because that Yokozuna was going to win the title from Bret Hart at the main event of WrestleMania 9. Hulk Hogan told Vince McMahon that fans are not going to like that Yokozuna is leaving WrestleMania as WWE Champion. So Hulk Hogan told Vince McMahon the fans are not going to like it. Then Vince McMahon agreed with Hogan to allow for Hogan to get the title from Yokozuna at WrestleMania 9 to send the fans home happy. And you got to look at that. That's the reason why Cena's going to win the main event. Vince has to send the fans home happy. He has to send them home happy. You got to look at that, people. So this has gone on long enough. This is the Game Is On 100. And I'll talk to you all later.